Hello, everybody. Um, I'm sorry it's been so long since I put out a video. Well, one thing leads to another. You know how that works, and somehow you get off track and you forget what your focus is, and it takes you a while to get back in the groove. Well, I'm back. What I want to talk about today has to do with the um, article I read about the schools in Brazil. And then they're implanting the little microchip RFID chips in the clothing of the students. And they're scanning the students when they go in the building and when they come out of the building. Now, it sounds like this wonderful system to protect the children. It's always for the children, isn't it? You ever notice that? Well, things like this always start out innocent enough. And then they get twisted into things you don't want them turned into. You wind up with these things being able to be monitored on the internet, and even if you have a well-meaning government that is looking out for the best interest of the citizenry, people are out there that aren't looking out for your best interest. And excuse me, I'll position this camera a little bit. And they will. There's hackers that'll hack that just to watch it. So later on in the future, as this progresses, it started out they embedded the little chips in your dogs, so that if your dog gets lost, they can carry it to the vet, and the vet can do the scanner thing, and they can figure out who the dog belongs to, and they put the medical records on there. Well, now they've integrated it into these uniforms for these kids in this school, and they're planning on doing it for every basically kid in the entire country of Brazil. And where this will eventually lead to, from if I'm having enough forethought or foresight or whatever the word is to see into the future just a little bit, I'm seeing this winding up that they'll ultimately at birth they'll implant the chip in your infant and maybe not even tell you they do it, and then they'll put these things in the grocery stores, and they'll put these things at the DMV, and they'll put them at the convenience stores, and they'll put them everywhere. And what they'll do is they'll tell you that they'll link it to your bank account, and that you'll be able to go to the grocery store, put all your groceries on the conveyor belt. They'll come across the scanner. You'll swipe your hand or wherever you put the chip by the scanner, and it'll automatically debit your bank account. You won't even have to carry money. Isn't that a great idea? You don't even have to have, you don't even need your pocketbook or your wallet or anything. You just go to the grocery store, get the groceries you want, go get in the car and leave. Sounds all well and good. Well, we all know that people can hack the internet, and they can hack into bank accounts, and governments can freeze assets. So, if the government, say the IRS, for instance, incorrectly keys in your Social Security number for one who is, for instance, had a levy against them for $200,000 in back taxes, and they decide to freeze all your assets until you decide to straighten it out with them. Well, now suddenly you can't buy your groceries, you can't buy gas. They next time they scan you, they realize that you're at Walmart in Tiptony, and they send a cop over and he picks you up, and you're processed into the system just because of someone's incorrect data entry skills. That crap happens. People screw up. Another thing that can happen is that, say, less than desirable individuals could hack the internet and hack into this monitoring database really easily, and they'll watch you. For instance, they'll watch your activity and your patterns, and then they'll find out that you scanned out at a convenience store in Trenton, Georgia. Then you scanned out at a convenience store or maybe a restaurant in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which would be down the road. Then you scanned out in Knoxville, Tennessee. Then you scanned out in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Then you scanned into a restaurant in, say, Cherokee, North Carolina, which is another popular destination for travelers or tourists in the South. Well, now they know with your chip that you live in Chattanooga, for instance, and that you're all the way up in Murphy, North Carolina, at Cherokee because you just hit a scanner point in Cherokee. So they just hop into the Ryder truck and drive over to your house and break in and rob everything you got because they know where you're at. Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways for this system to be abused that it's not even plausible to have it. I fear that what'll happen is it'll get used for less than desirable reasons. I'm afraid, it'll start out innocent enough, and it probably has, the people that invented it probably had good intentions. They didn't probably have all these horrible Big Brother ideas in mind when they come up with this. They thought, this is a great idea, But people will abuse it. It's too easy to abuse it. I mean, I'm not an electronics whiz kid that knows how to write, basic programming language for computers and make it do things that you normally can't do. But I can even see what this can be done with. I mean, it's just a bad idea. And it'll probably be coming to a home near you or a town near you soon enough. You need to look it up and do some research on RFID tag equipment. And I would have to look it up again on the internet. I didn't bring my paper with me. I got my hands empty today. But I didn't bring my backup documentation, but it's on there. All you gotta do is, I think it was on Yahoo or it was on Fox News. I don't remember for sure. I was hitting one of the major news sites when I seen it. But yeah, you can probably do a Google search for microchip and Brazil school students, and you'll probably hit it pretty quick. But it's just unusual that, when we seen them putting them into the pets 2 or 3 years ago, people were speculating then. The doom and gloomers were even speculating then that it would eventually be put into people. And now they're not putting it into the people yet. They're just they're sewing it into the school uniforms to start with. But ultimately, they'll say, well, it's so much better to be able to track the kids if the ID tag was inside of them instead of in their clothes, because you can take the clothes off. So if someone kidnaps your kid, even if they take their shirt off and throw it in the dumpster, we can still figure out where they are. See how they go with it? See how they sell it? So if you was a smart person, you would keep an eye out for this to be coming to you, and don't let them do it to your children. I mean, let your children be free. Don't let them be slaves to an electronic monitoring system that can control every aspect of your life. It's just not a good idea. So, with all that said, it looks like Mitt Romney is going to be running against Barack Obama in the election. So, pick your lesser of two evils. You've got the red team for the big corporations or the blue team for the big corporations, but there's your choices. So I had to get my little piece of political humor in there. But if you got any comments about it, post them below. We'll chat about it some. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I thought it was worth making a video of. It was just a little news article. It wasn't much, but that it's coming. RFID tracking's coming. So, with that, this is David with Liberty Guys signing off. Y'all have a good one.